You trust your family, don't you? I certainly trusted mine until a quiet moment shattered that illusion. Walking into the room and seeing my uncle sleeping wasn't just unexpected, it was deeply bizarre, raising questions I couldn't ignore. Follow this strange story to practice your English and perhaps uncover a hidden family secret. That strange feeling, the curiosity, the need to know what happens next, that's the power of story. Stories grab us. They pull us in and make us want to understand. This is why learning English through stories is so effective. It's not just about learning words, it's about experiencing them in a way that sticks with you. Think about it. We remember stories much better than lists of facts or statistics. A good storyteller knows how to create a world, introduce key characters we care about, and build tension that keeps us hooked. These are proven techniques used by every great writer, speaker, or even marketer. They know that to persuade people or connect with an audience, you need more than cold numbers. You need narratives that evoke emotions. So how do stories work their magic? Let's look at the basic structure and elements. Most stories follow a pattern, the beginning or setup where we meet the characters and learn about their situation and challenges. Then comes the middle, the rising action, where the conflict gets bigger and the characters face more difficult obstacles. Finally, there's the end, the resolution, where the problems are solved and the characters reach their goals, often after some kind of transformation. At the heart of every story is the central plot. This isn't just a sequence of events happening one after another in chronological order. It's an intricately woven tapestry of cause and effect relationships. An effective plot connects everything, the characters, the conflict, the underlying theme, in a way that feels organic and immersive. It makes the audience wonder, predict what might happen, and become emotionally invested in the narrative journey. Then you have the key characters. They are the pillars around which the story orbits. We connect with their dreams, struggles, choices, and how they change. A good character isn't flat, they are multifaceted with distinct personality traits, backgrounds, motivations, and even flaws. We watch them evolve as they face their circumstances, sometimes challenging their own beliefs and values. This leads to personal growth or maybe even decline. Characters with real-life complexities help us with identification and emotional investment. They become our emotional anchor in the story. Of course, you need conflict. Conflict is the lifeblood of a story. It's the obstacle or challenge the main character must confront and try to overcome. This is what propels the plot forward. A well-developed conflict doesn't just create excitement, it reveals the character's deepest fears, desires, and their moral compass. It humanizes them and builds a deeper emotional connection with the audience. Showing characters navigate their conflicts gives us a glimpse into their resilience and inner strength. The narrative perspective or point of view also shapes the story. Is someone telling their own first-hand account, "I saw my uncle"? Or is it an external observer watching everything he saw his uncle? This choice affects the tone, mood, and what information the audience receives. A first-person view can feel very intimate, while a third-person view can give a wider, more objective picture. Don't forget the environment and context. The setting isn't just geographical, it includes the cultural, social, and historical backdrop. These elements provide a vivid sense of place and time. They influence characters' motivations and behaviors. A well-crafted environment can immerse the audience, making the story more believable and engaging. Context can add layers of depth and thematic resonance. And the writing style matters too, the distinctive voice of the storyteller. The word selection affects clarity and memorability. Good writers demonstrate through action and dialogue rather than just telling. They use specific, concrete details and sensory description to evoke potent images and elicit strong emotions. This is often called showing, not telling. Effective storytellers use various techniques to keep you engaged. One powerful tool is suspense. Building suspense is like creating an engine that drives the story forward. It creates anticipation and uncertainty, making the audience ponder over the characters' fates. Techniques like foreshadowing, hinting at future events, or withholding information keep you on the edge of your seat. Sometimes, a story might use a false start to subvert expectations and inject surprise. They also immerse you in the story, painting a vivid picture using metaphors, similes, and other literary devices. They make you feel here and maybe even taste what the characters experience. Starting with a personal story can also be effective, fostering authenticity and relatability. Many stories use the structure of the hero's journey. This classic arc shows the protagonist's transformation through trials and tribulations. The hero confronts their deepest fears, overcomes insurmountable obstacles, and returns home fundamentally changed. This structure taps into universal themes of growth, resilience, and self-discovery, resonating deeply with the audience. Understanding these elements, plot, character, conflict, perspective, setting, theme, and techniques like suspense and immersion doesn't just make you appreciate stories more. It directly helps your English learning. When you read or listen to stories, you see vocabulary and grammar used naturally in context. You learn how sentences are structured to create dynamism and packing. You absorb cultural nuances. You practice predicting outcomes and understanding implied meanings. You start to think more critically about the message or underlying theme the author wants to convey, maybe a commentary on societal issues, or an exploration of universal truths about human nature. Many resources use stories for learning. Short films, for example, often rely on visual action, making them great for different levels. Simple stories help beginners grasp basic structures, while more complex narratives challenge advanced learners. Think about The Gift of the Magi, a simple plot with a powerful theme about love and sacrifice. Or The Monkey's Paw, which builds suspense and explores desires and consequences. These stories provide rich ground for discussion and understanding. However, research shows there are still things we need to explore further. For example, studies on how families establish routines, like bedtime stories or managing media use, often focus on mothers. More research is needed on the role fathers play, and how partner involvement affects things like sleep habits and maybe even language development through routines. We also need deeper investigation into how cultural factors specifically impact storytelling traditions and learning styles within different communities, like the Hispanic families mentioned in some studies. Understanding the sociocultural context and socioeconomic reality is crucial for creating effective learning approaches. And while we know media can impact sleep, potentially affecting learning, the exact mechanisms and the impact of newer interactive media versus passive viewing need more study, especially across different cultures like Italy versus the US. Longitudinal studies following learners over time would help clarify the direction of these effects. Does media use affect sleep? Or do children with sleep problems use more media? Exploring these questions will help us create even better ways to use the power of story for learning. The narrative is a fundamental part of the human experience, and harnessing it can make learning English more engaging, effective, and meaningful. If you found this exploration of storytelling and learning interesting, please give this video a like, share it with friends who are also learning English, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories and learning tips. Keep watching, keep learning, and keep discovering the power of stories.